Hey everyone, and welcome to a little bit different of a lawsuit than I normally cover because this is a civil suit against Jodi Hildebrandt from Kevin Franke. For those of you who think, who are these people? Well, Franke and Hildebrandt, you might remember when you see this picture, the two women who pled guilty to child abuse back in 2023. Kevin Franke was married to Ruby Franke, the woman on the left. He is suing Jodi Hildebrandt, the woman on the right, because he believes that she, as a therapist, was negligent and manipulative. So, what is this case about? Well, we need a little bit of a backstory for those of you who might not know. Franke family was at one point internet famous because Ruby launched Eight Passengers back in 2015, vlogging the life with Kevin and their six kids in a strict environment. And it kind of blew up because it ended up with more than 2.5 followers. But in 2020 is kind of where it took a dive because people started saying, hey, this is kind of excessive the way you punish your kids. One kid was forced to sleep on a beanbag because he made a joke on his little brother. Other times she was talk about how if her 4-year old couldn't make her own dinner, well, she couldn't get any. We're not talking about harsh harsh upbringing. We're talking about real punishment here, which sadly we will see more of in the future. And it actually went so bad that people starting petitions to have child services check in on this family. So they closed their YouTube channel. In 2022, she meets Jodi Hildebrandt. Jodi Hildebrandt is a woman who writes self-help books and is a counselor. She has one of her books is "You Are Not Enough. Enoughness is the lie that keeps you from the truth," and she has "Arming the Next Generation with Weapons of Truth." Your child is growing up in a world that is full of distraction and distorted messages about life and relationship. In "Arming the Next Generation with Weapons of Truth," Jodi Hildebrandt will instruct and train you in specific mental, relational, and emotional skills which empower you in your family culture and all your relationships. If you decide to equip your child with the tools they need to successfully navigate life and relationship, this is a must-read book for every parent. At least this is how she sold her therapy. Because as we will learn, these two ladies ended up severely hurting two small kids. But in 2022, these two ladies went together in a group called Connections, and then they had these Moms of Truth classes on Facebook, and they were trying to sell these books. Kevin and Ruby split up because he was all of a sudden diagnosed by Hildebrandt as a Smex addict, a creep, a narcissist. So to protect the family from him, it was necessary he moved out of the house. This is what she said. Other people who have come forward after the case started have said exactly the same thing. She'll isolate the men and remove them from the family because these men are evil. They have a corn addiction. There's all of this very strong anti-man vibe in all of her stories. But in August 30th, 2023, Ruby's son shows up at a neighbor's doorstep. He's malnourished. He is you. He has tape wrapped around him. He's begging for food and water. And when the police arrives, he said, "My sister is at the house too." And she's also found there. They are 10 and 12 years old. When you read the allegations made in the lawsuit, I have made videos on it. You can go back and check them. These kids are forced to work outside in the baking Utah sun. If they have injuries, well, we'll put cayenne pepper and honey on them. No need for anything. They apparently, according to Hildebrandt, are possessed by the devil, and we'll have to punish them to have the devil leave these kids. At one point, to repent, she forces a kid to run and jump onto a cactus because she has this weird thing about repenting. And if you go back and read Ruby's diary, it's probably some of the most draconic things I have read where a mother talks about her kids. She has this constant, well, I'll have to punish them because they are possessed. But both of them pled guilty to aggravated child abuse, and we are waiting. It could be up to 30 years, but it depends on the parole boards in Utah. Kevin divorced Ruby in 2025, and he's now suing Ruby in a new lawsuit that we can see here. It's just filed today. And he's suing her for over $300,000, saying that her therapy trashed his life while she hid family abuse. And I would have to say, Kevin is, in my feeling, a little bit like Crystal Sorry, because he he believed her when he was diagnosed with narcissism and lustful behavior. And nope, there was no evidence of that, but um, he gets kicked out of the family home with his son Chad, and they're not allowed to talk to the other kids because they need to protect them from these men who has these lustfulness. And she then uses Kevin's faith against him, where she claims that if he doesn't do what she wants, he's damned. And she does these long sessions where she demands 300 to 375 bucks a month for group therapy, but in over 300 hours of sessions, she berates him as a Satan lover. And in the group settings, shares his secrets and get other people to pile on to him. She tells him that he has to skip temple, and this cost him his job in June of 2023. Then she calls him selfish, and at this time, she's housing Ruby and her kids, where she makes them take STD test. What? And then she's plotting to move to Arizona with $80,000 from the family funds, while Kevin still has to pay to try and get reunited with his family. And this is a weird, weird case again. He doesn't do anything because she uses his faith against him. And the reason why Jodi gets Ruby to drop Kevin, because it's God mandated. It's it's horrendous to see how she can manipulate people to get into these states where they believe her. She has been sued before. Another client that hit him in 2025 still haven't had the trial going, but it's the similar way, isolating the men, claiming they have all these disorders that she's not licensed to give them. And sadly, these men are being too weak to do anything. The only thing I would kind of say about this is I get a kind of a Crystal Sorry vibe from Kevin, because when this happened and the child abuse was opened, he didn't, he stuck by his wife. I don't like that. And now he's suing for 300,000 to try and get his comeuppance. I hope that money will go to the kids, if any money will ever be awarded. I don't know if she has any money to give him, but I just feel this is weird, because where were you that year that you believed that God had demanded that you should leave your kids and family? I don't know that I would do that just because God told me so. I think I would fight tooth and nails to make sure my kids wasn't growing up in a house where they were forced to work outside in the sun with no protection, where they didn't get medical treatment, and where they were tied up in the house. But hey, that's a different. I think I'm a pretty good one. I think he's a pretty shit one, but we'll have to see what the lawsuit says. Thanks for watching.